while we have a few minutes, let's go on the sawmill. Had to make sure they're two of the opposite hands. Guys, Case for Top Branch Tree Service here on a nice beautiful day. Had a kind of a couple of odds and ends to do this morning, so we're like, well, let's spend the rest of the afternoon doing a little bit of sawing on our sawmill. A lot of people ask if it's worth it or not. Of course, we're tree guys. We cut trees at people's houses and clearing wood lots and things like that. It's definitely worth it for us. Because eventually, if you're in the same situation we are, you accumulate all these logs. I'm like, well, what to do with it? Another method to make money on these logs is actually to saw them up. For all those that are kind of trying to start to get into this business because they want to be outside, they have a wood lot they would like to make a little bit of money on. Whoever is looking to have that building done, instead of paying for lumber, I could pay for a sawmill and saw it myself. Plus, I'd make a little money on the side, and you definitely could if you did it right. So some kind of things to consider is the size of the mill that you're getting. Like what we have is a plain Jane manual mill, basically manual up and down, and I'm as fast as I want to walk is how fast the saw saws. This is a little small 20-footer, not even 20 foot, it's 20 foot total, but it will saw a 16-foot log. There's huge number of different models out there and different companies and stuff like that, so you have to do your research and to see what's going to suit your needs, plus the size of the logs and the species of logs that you're going to be handling, and who your ideal customers are. A lot of times when it comes to how you get paid for sawmilling, it's usually on output or it's on productivity. I have a pile of 2x6s right here for a gentleman. He gave us some hemlock logs to saw up and to turn into 2x6s that he's going to use for building bridges. What I did for him is said, well, I can saw your logs, no problem. You bring them to me, or for a fee, I'll come and grab them for you. And I'm going to charge you basically 75 cents per board foot that I saw out of a material, basically. So my job as a sawyer is to get as many boards out of these logs, so that way I get paid more. When it comes to sawmilling and things like that, usually you get paid on board footage or for an hourly or whatever, that you basically are going to have a deal with whatever client that you have. So if somebody asks me, is it worth it to purchase a sawmill and to start sawing, I'm going to say yeah, but it all depends. It depends on if you're going to be a service where you're going to go, and like this gentleman, I'm sawing his logs, so I charge him for how per board foot for his logs that he brings me. Or if I'm going to, let's say I have a wood lot and I have a pretty good sized wood lot, and I have trees that I want to saw and to sell into a product, say 2x4s or grade stakes or 2x6s or what have you, then you have to basically factor it in for the logs, because eventually if you had a 10-acre lot or whatever, it wouldn't take you very long to saw up all the trees on your 10 acres, so eventually you'll have to buy them. So the way that a lot of mills work is they go buy the logs, they saw the logs, then they sell the byproduct of those logs, which are the chips, the saw, and all the boards that are produced from it. So if you're going to be getting into it, you're going to say, well, what is your goal? And with the 75 cents a board foot, I can make about $100 an hour, which is a great wage for somebody that is kind of looking to do this as a side hustle, especially on your own property where you didn't have to move your equipment and things like that, where there's some travel time that are associated with it, but that's a simple little fee that you would add to the setup basically of the mill. So some things to consider basically are if you're going to be buying the material or if you have the material. Also your consumables like your blades if you hit steel or things like that. When people want you to do the bigger, wider logs, a lot of times if they're around houses they have some steel in it. So if it's $35-40 a blade if you're getting a nice one, plus anything that it happens to the mill, or if it tweaks any of the guides or the bearings or anything like that. That's something that you have to consider as well. So those consumables should be inside of your hourly rate, or it would be a charge that would, hey, I hit a nail, so every time I hit a nail or hit steel, it's a $50 charge for a lot of people. So that way it covers that blade, because that blade is basically junk. Short answer is yes. It's definitely worth it to get a sawmill to do this. It gets you outside. It gets you to be able to use the resources that you have to make a little bit extra side catch. Again, this has been Casey with Top Branch Tree Service, over and out, and we're gonna get this guy all sawed up and on to the next log pretty soon.